AITA for calling the police when my sister's family broke into my new house with a stolen key. Hello. Reddit. I'm 27 years old and female, and I feel like I've spent most of my life feeling like I was in my older sister Lily's shadow. She's 30 years old and female. She was always the favorite, you know. The smart one, the social one, the one who could talk her way out of anything. Me? I was called the irresponsible one. But in my family, that just meant I did all the work and got no praise. Growing up, Lily always had the best of everything. Her birthdays were big parties in the garden, with bouncy castles and pony rides. Mine? Just a pizza party in the dining room with a cake from the supermarket. Lily got the Barbie dream house for Christmas. I got a fake one, used, and it was missing the elevator. My parents would just say, "You don't need all that fancy stuff." Or be grateful for what you have. Lily? Though? She never had to be grateful like I did. Things really changed when I went to college. I worked super hard in high school, taking advanced classes and doing a lot of after-school stuff to get good grades. I got into a local university. My plan was great, I thought. I'd live at home and save money on dorms. Lily had gone to her dream school, and my parents paid for everything. So I figured they'd help me too. Nope, I was wrong. When I told my mom I'd live at home, she looked at me like I'd just said I was moving to Mars. "If you're staying here, you'll need to contribute," she said, all casual like. Lily got everything from us because she deserved it. "You need to learn responsibility." I was 18 and about to start college, and they were already talking about me paying rent. Contribute meant $400 a month for rent and electricity. Plus, I had to buy my own food. That might not seem like much, but it is when you're a broke college student working part-time at a bookstore for $9 an hour. I tried to explain. I reminded them they'd paid for everything for Lily. She never had to worry about money at school. Mom just shrugged. "We gave Lily what she needed," she said. "You're different. You're independent. You'll figure it out." So I did. I worked as many hours as I could at the bookstore. Sometimes I even skipped meals just to pay the bills. Every morning, I'd walk past the campus coffee shop, watching other students buy lattes and pastries. I'd have my peanut butter and jelly sandwich and free coffee from the bookstore break room. I never bought a textbook new. Everything was used, or I got it from the library. Every month, I gave my parents $400. Meanwhile, Lily was at her out-of-state school, living in a brand new dorm my parents had bought for her. She called me once to complain her dorm's air conditioning wasn't cold enough. I almost lost it. My car didn't even have air conditioning because I couldn't afford to fix it. My parents kept sending Lily money every month. I once heard Mom on the phone saying, "We don't want her to struggle. College is hard enough." I stood in the kitchen, holding my $1 ramen noodles, wondering why I never got that kind of care. To make things worse, my parents were always praising Lily for everything she did. She got a 3.2 grade point average in her communications major. They threw her a huge graduation party with fancy food and a DJ. When I graduated with a 3.9 and a computer science degree, we just had a quiet dinner at home. Mom made lasagna and said, "Well, we don't want to make a fuss." Looking back, the worst part wasn't really the money stuff. It was the clear message that I just didn't matter as much. Lily was always the star, the one with potential. I was just there. Even when I did well, it was ignored. They'd say, "Delilah's smart, she doesn't need help." Being capable felt like a curse. After college, I moved out as fast as I could. I rented a small apartment near my first job. I started living my life the way I wanted. It wasn't easy, but it felt amazing to be free from what they expected of me. I worked hard, spent money carefully, and started saving. Meanwhile, Lily married Chandler, who's 32 years old and male. My parents love him, even though he's always hopping from one job to another. They have 3 kids now: Meyer, who's 5, Walsh, who's 4, and baby Perry, who's 2. My parents are always bailing them out. When their car broke down last year, my parents just gave them money for a new one. When Lily griped about how hard it was with 3 kids, Mom and Dad offered to babysit on weekends. I wish it didn't bother me anymore, but it still does, a lot. No matter what I do for myself, I always feel like I'm second best compared to Lily. That's why I don't tell my family much about my life anymore. I know they wouldn't really care anyway, so I've been keeping quiet about things. But lately, I decided it was time to start looking for my own place. I'd been renting this tiny apartment for years, paying way too much for what was basically a glorified shoebox, and I'd been saving for what felt like forever. Finally, I got to a point where I thought, you know what? I deserve this. Here's the thing, I didn't tell my family, not because it was a huge secret, but because with them, nothing can ever just be about me. Everything turns into a group project. If I said anything, I knew they'd turn it into a conversation about Lily and her kids, and how my money could help them somehow. So I figured it was easier to just keep my mouth shut until everything was finalized. Turns out, I was too hopeful. I'm not sure how it happened, but a co-worker, let's call her Willow, somehow let it slip. Willow's one of those nosy types who always wants to know what's up. I guess she just casually told someone I was house hunting. That someone just happened to be Lily's neighbor. From there, the news spread like crazy. Oh, the joys of small-town Texas. A few days later, my mom called me. Delilah, she said, way too cheerful, why didn't you tell us you're looking for a house? I should have known better, but I played dumb. Oh, I'm just looking around, nothing serious right now. Well, Lily and I have been talking, and we have some great ideas for you. I felt that familiar dread start to creep in. You'll need something big enough for everyone, you know. At least 4 bedrooms for the kids, of course. What kids? I asked. I don't have any kids. She just kept talking like this was the most normal thing ever. You'll need room for Lily's family when they visit, and for us too. Oh. And it'd be great if it was near Lily's house. I don't know why I was surprised. She had already turned my future house into a fix for all their problems. I said something vague and hung up the phone as fast as I could. I thought it was just a one-off thing. But nope, it wasn't. My mom and Lily started flooding me with house listings after that. I'm not kidding, it became like a part-time job for them. Every single day, I'd get at least 12 links to crazy houses. Huge places with 4 or 5 bedrooms, pools, 3-car garages, the whole 9 yards. It was like they thought I was looking for a mansion for a reality show. One day, Mom texted, "Did you see the one on Maple Street? It's massive, just perfect." Another time, Lily emailed me a link to a 6-bedroom house. Her message read, "This would be so good for us. We'd finally have room to spread out." I stared at that message for a full minute, wondering how my house hunt had turned into a group project for them. And the worst part? They weren't even pretending it was about me anymore. Every place they suggested was all about Lily's family. This one has a finished basement. Chandler could make it his man cave. The kids would just love the pool here. Look, Delilah, there's even a spare room for Mom and Dad when they come to visit. It was totally exhausting. At first, I tried to gently steer them away. I told them I was just looking for something small for myself. But that just made things worse. That's when I decided to stop replying. I muted the group chat and ignored their messages. I figured they'd finally get the hint and move on. Meanwhile, I kept looking for houses by myself. I spent my evenings scrolling through Zillow and my weekends checking out open houses. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I stayed far away from anything near Lily's area. I didn't want to bump into anyone who might tell my mom. After weeks of searching, I finally found it, a cute, 2-bedroom cottage just outside the city. It had everything I wanted, a nice little porch, a sunny kitchen, and a yard big enough for a garden. It wasn't fancy, but it felt like home the moment I walked through the door. I just knew it was mine. I put in an offer. After a few super stressful days, it was approved. I can't even tell you how amazing it felt. For the first time ever, I was doing something just for me, with no one else pushing their ideas on me. Of course, I didn't tell my family. I decided to let them keep sending their helpful suggestions while I quietly got things done. But then my mom called me out of the blue. "We're having dinner next weekend. You're coming, right?" I almost said no, but then I thought, you know what, let's just get this over with. So I'm going to this dinner, and I already know what it'll be like. They'll probably have a whole PowerPoint presentation ready. Here comes the fun part. I'm about to drop the bomb that I've already bought a house. I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. I can already hear the dramatic gasps and complaints. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll send an update after dinner. Update 1. First off, thanks to everyone who commented and gave advice on my last post. I said I'd update you after dinner, so here it is. Get ready. Because a lot went down. So, I got to my parents' house last Saturday right at 6:00 p.m. I was ready for whatever garbage they were going to try and pull. As soon as I walked in, it was already a madhouse. The kids were yelling, Chandler was chilling on the couch watching TV, and Mom was hustling in the kitchen. She looked up and said, "Oh, good, you're on time for once. What a great start, right?" We sat down for dinner, and the chat started with the usual stuff. Dad griped about gas prices, Chandler complained about work, and Lily whined about how tough it was to handle 3 kids. "Perry keeps waking up in the middle of the night," she said, putting mashed potatoes on her plate. "We're just so squished. I feel like I'm going crazy." I knew exactly where this was headed, but I went along with it. I nodded like I understood, while really just focusing on my lasagna. Then Mom cleared her throat, just like she always does before a big announcement. "Delilah," she said with a huge grin, "we've been chatting, And we think we found the perfect house for you. I nearly choked on my water. Of course, they had a whole plan ready. Oh? I asked, trying to sound as calm as I could. Yep. Lily cut in. It's a really nice place, and it's only a few blocks away from us. It's got 5 bedrooms, a huge yard for the kids, and even a guest room. Mom jumped in before I could say anything. It's perfect for everyone. The kids will finally have their own rooms, and Chandler could even set up an office. Plus, it's in such a good area, near good schools. I just stared at them, totally confused. They weren't even pretending this was about me anymore. So, Lily said, grinning like it was all decided, we can go check it out tomorrow if you want. That's when I decided I was totally done. Actually, I said, putting my fork down, I've already bought a house. The whole room went dead quiet. Even the kids stopped making a peep. What? Mom asked, her voice really sharp. I bought a house, I said again. It's a small, 2-bedroom cottage just outside the city. It's perfect for me. For a second, I wondered if they'd be happy for me. Mom's face went red, and Lily's jaw practically hit the floor. A cottage? Lily finally asked, sounding totally doubtful. How are we supposed to squeeze into a cottage? You're not, I told her. Because it's my house. I bought it for me. Mom cut in before Lily could say anything else. Delilah, how could you make such a big choice without talking to us first? We've been trying so hard to find the perfect place for you. No, I said, trying to stay calm. You've been busting your butt to find the perfect place for Lily and her family. I didn't need your help. I knew what I wanted, and I bought it. Lily's voice went all high and squeaky, like she was about to cry. But we seriously need this, Delilah. Do you have any idea how hard it is for us in that tiny apartment? The kids have to share a room, and Perry's crib is in our bedroom. It's just not fair to them. I took a deep breath, trying not to freak out. That's not my problem, Lily. I've busted my butt to get here, and I'm not giving up my dream house to solve your problems. That's when Dad jumped in. He slammed his hand on the table. You're being selfish, Delilah. Family is supposed to stick together. What's your deal? I stood up, my heart pounding. I'm not selfish. I'm finally standing up for myself. And if that makes me the bad guy in your eyes, then so be it. The whole place just blew up. Lily was crying. Mom was going off about how she raised me better. Dad was griping about how disappointed he was. Chandler just sat there, stuffing his face, like nothing was happening. I grabbed my purse and headed for the door. Mom came after me, crying, you can't just walk out on your family like this. I turned back and yelled, watch me. Then I got in my car and drove home, shaking with anger and relief. Things have gotten super out of control in ways I never saw coming. My mom and Lily both went full-on social media attack mode. Lily posted pictures of her kids crammed into their bunk bed. She wrote stuff like, all they want is a little room to grow. But I guess some folks don't think family is worth helping anymore. People who didn't know the whole story commented things like, how could anyone be so heartless? To top it off, someone, probably Willow, saw these posts, and now half my office is gossiping about how I ditched my family. I'm trying to stay positive and focus on my job, but it's getting harder and harder. I'm getting ready for whatever else they throw at me, but I know I made the right choice. This house is mine, and I'm not backing down. I'll give an update if anything big happens. Seriously, thanks so much for all your help, you have no idea how much it's meant to me. Update 2. I've been reading all your comments, and, wow, you guys really let me have it. A lot of you were surprised at how entitled my family acts, and trust me, I get it. Others shared their own stories, and it's good to know I'm not the only one dealing with this kind of stuff. So, things took a weird turn. My mom showed up at my apartment yesterday without calling first. She was holding an apple pie, not my favorite. I like cherry better, and had the fakest smile I've ever seen. Hi, Delilah. I just thought I'd pop by and see how you're doing, she said. Like she hadn't been part of the whole social media attack on me for weeks. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She put the pie on my kitchen counter and then just looked around my place, like she was checking it all out. I wanted to say sorry, she started, her voice sounding super sweet and fake. Things got a little out of hand, and I see now that we were wrong to push you so hard. You worked hard for this house, and I should have respected your choices. Something about how she said it just didn't feel right. Then she went on and on about how proud she was of me, and how Lily's situation had stressed everyone out and made them act up, but that's no excuse. She added. She gave me a sad, almost begging look. I was thinking maybe we could hit the reset button? I'd love to come over again sometime, maybe bring Lily and the kids. It would be nice for everyone to see your new place. So, there it was. The real reason for her visit. After she left, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Later that night, I figured out what was bothering me. She had spent a strange amount of time checking out my door locks and asking about when I was moving. My gut feeling was right when I got home from work today and found my spare key missing. I had accidentally left it on the kitchen counter when my mom was here. My phone buzzed just as I was trying to process this. It was a text from my next-door neighbor. "Hey, I saw some folks trying to look into your windows last night. Looked like a couple with kids. Everything okay?" I immediately called a locksmith to change all the locks. I'm also going to put in security cameras first thing tomorrow morning. I can't believe they would sink this low, but honestly, I'm not surprised. I've stopped answering calls and texts from anyone in my family. Mom's apology was clearly just a spy mission, and I'm done giving them the benefit of the doubt. The really messed up part is that I don't think they're going to stop. Dad left a voicemail saying, "This isn't over, Delilah. Family has to stick together, whether you like it or not." At this point, it sounds more like a threat than him caring. I'm writing down everything right now, every text, every voicemail, every weird thing that happens. My gut tells me I'll need this proof very soon. I'll keep you updated if anything else goes down. Reddit, thanks for all your support. It really helps to have people tell me I'm not crazy for wanting basic boundaries. Update 3. Hey, Reddit. I never thought I'd be writing this update, but here we are. What happened today has completely messed me up, and I'm still trying to figure it all out. This morning, I went out to do some normal errands, like getting groceries and picking up a package from the post office. When I got home around noon, I saw something weird. Lily's SUV was parked right in front of my house. My heart just dropped. I walked up to the door, fumbling with my keys, and I could hear voices inside. Lily, Chandler, and the kids were in my place. It was total chaos in there. Meyer and Walsh were spread out on my couch with snacks and toys everywhere. Perry was waddling around my living room, chewing on one of my throw pillows. Chandler was in the kitchen, raiding my fridge, and Lily was in the sunroom, moving my furniture around like she was on HGTV. What the heck is going on? I managed to say, my voice shaking from how mad and shocked I was. Lily looked up, completely unfazed. "Oh, hey Delilah. We just figured it'd be easier to move in while you were out." I just stared at her, trying to understand what she had just said. "Move in? Mom gave us the key," she explained, pointing to the kitchen counter. "We really needed the space, and your home is perfect for us. It could have been bigger if you'd just listened to us, but we'll make it work. Chandler can finally have an office instead of arguing." Instead of getting into an argument, I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. "Seriously, Lily?" she said, sounding totally disbelieving. "Are you really calling the cops on your own family?" "Watch me," I told her. When the cops showed up, Lily and Chandler tried to argue that since we were family, it wasn't a real break-in. But the officers weren't having any of it. They told them they were trespassing and had to leave right away. Lily started crying, saying she didn't realize it was such a big deal. Chandler mumbled something about me being selfish as they packed up their stuff, including all the goodies they'd taken from my cupboard. After they left, one of the officers came up to me and asked if I wanted to press charges. I thought about it for a bit, then decided not to, as long as they stayed off my property. The officer nodded, saying they'd write a report just in case anything else happened. I've already called a locksmith to change the locks again, and I'm getting a security system installed tomorrow. I've also hired a lawyer to write an official cease and desist letter to send to my parents, Lily, and Chandler. The letter spells out everything they've done and says if they keep harassing me, I won't think twice about taking legal action. I still can't believe my own sister thought this was okay, and that my mother gave them the key. I honestly have no words for it. I'll keep you updated if anything else goes down, but maybe this is finally the last straw. I'm done giving them chances. Blood isn't always thicker than water, especially when it's dangerous. Update 4. First, I just want to say thanks to everyone who followed along on this crazy journey. After all your comments and support, I feel like I owe you a final report on what happened. Yes. I mean, final, because I've completely cut ties with my family. First came the calls, all trying to make me feel bad. Every single relative, even those who barely knew I was alive growing up, started phoning me. My aunt, who usually ignored me, left a voicemail that said, "How can you do this to your sister? Family has to stick together." Then my parents started talking trash about me all over town. Mom shared pictures of my house on Facebook. I'm still not sure how she got them saying stuff like, "It's so sad when someone forgets where they came from. Family sacrifices so much for you, and this is how they repay you." People who didn't know the whole story commented, calling me ungrateful and selfish. Last week, Lily stepped up her game. She showed up at my job during lunch with all 3 kids. I was in a meeting when our receptionist called to say my sister was crying in the lobby and causing a scene. By the time I got there, Half my coworkers were gathered to watch Lily dramatically explain how I was making her kids homeless. I pulled her aside and told her to get out. She responded by letting her kids run wild in the office, screaming that I had tons of room but was too selfish to share it. Security had to kick them out, and I had an awkward talk with my boss about keeping my family drama out of work. The last straw was yesterday. My parents set up a family meeting at their home. They told my grandma I was having a meltdown and needed family help. When I said no to going, they tried to get a local pastor to come to my house to lecture me about my family duties. After talking to my lawyer, I got serious legally. I filed for a restraining order against Lily and Chandler, listing all the ways they harassed me in the break-in. My lawyer also sent legal letters to my parents telling them to stop their social media posts and harassment. I've put in a full security system with cameras and motion detectors. I also got a new phone number and email, which I only share with friends I trust at work. All my social media accounts are now set to super strict privacy settings, blocking not just my family, but also their friends and anyone who might spill the beans to them. The strangest thing about all of this is that they still think they're right. My mother sent me one last email before I blocked her. She said I was breaking her heart and that she had raised me better than this. She still doesn't get that it's not about being mean or selfish. It's about setting normal limits and respecting myself. But you know what? For the first time in my life, I actually feel truly free. My house is exactly how I like it. I've started a garden in my backyard. I'd always wanted one but never had the room. I'm making friends with neighbors who won't go running back to my family. I even got a cat. She's chilling in my sunny window right now. She doesn't have to share her space with anyone she doesn't want to, either. Last weekend, I had a small housewarming party with some coworkers. We had wine and cheese on my cute little porch, and no one told me I needed more space or asked about my life choices. It was just normal, happy, and peaceful. I know some people might read this and think I'm heartless for ditching my family, but after 27 years of being treated like a backup plan, an ATM, and a fix-it for everyone else's problems, I'm finally putting myself first for once, realizing that family isn't just about blood, it's about respect, boundaries, and supporting each other that can be the best thing you ever do for yourself. And what about the house that caused all this drama? It's become my safe place. Every morning I wake up in my house, decorated exactly how I like it, with no one else's ideas to worry about but mine. And I know I made the right choice. Looking back on everything that happened, the biggest lesson I learned is that family isn't just about who you're related to by blood. It's about respect, setting clear boundaries, and genuine support. For 27 years, I let my family treat me like I was just there to solve their problems or be a backup plan, but standing up for myself and putting my own well-being first was the healthiest thing I've ever done. It wasn't easy, and it definitely caused a lot of drama, but finding my own peace and creating a space that's truly mine, free from their expectations, has been incredibly freeing. What do you all think? Have any of you had to draw a hard line with your family, or deal with situations where your needs were constantly overlooked? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences.